Cloudcast Media.
Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, and whenever we have this gentleman on, it is another wonderful day. Rear Admiral retired Terry Kraft is the president and CEO of the USS Midway Museum, the iconic museum. They do so many great things for San Diegans, for nonprofits, for this community. And Terry got on board a little while ago, and you've just been in a full sprint ever since, Terry.
Absolutely.
You enjoying it?
I have the best job anywhere.
You do. And, before we turn it over to Kristen Fogel, my co-host, she's the president and CEO. I just gave you a promotion, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I mean, executive director's fine, but I like yours better.
Okay, very good. San Diego Writers Inc., they're celebrating their 20th anniversary. She's got some questions for you, Terry. But the crew that works on the Midway, from your unbelievable volunteers, the docents, to the staff, you guys are top shelf in every which way.
Over 800 volunteers make Midway go every single day, 200 staff. What I tell people, if you're ever having a bad day, just go talk to a volunteer. They inspire me every day with what they do. And if you ever wanted to work at an organization where everybody cares so much about the museum and the ship and the guest experience, come to Midway. It's a great example of that.
Yeah, it is phenomenal. Kristen?
Yeah, let's just back up for a second. Can you tell us the mission of the Midway?
Absolutely. So the mission of the Midway is to be America's living symbol of freedom. We're a great museum, but really we exist to honor all the veterans who served in the military and do all kinds of things every single day, but also the idea of service. Not just service to your country, service to your community, service to your family. So really, America's living symbol of freedom is what we call ourselves. But honoring veterans is what we're all about.
One of the things, since I've been affiliated with SDMAC, San Diego Military Advisory Council, and of course Terry's group is too, if I've learned anything from working with that phenomenal group of folks, and like Terry, folks in the military always serve twice, almost what he's saying. Certainly you're serving to protect us here and abroad, but the fact that you guys are involved in almost everything, little leagues, literacy groups, you name it, is just in your DNA.
Yeah. Since the museum was founded 20 years ago, we've given over $4 million away in grants and scholarships. And that's such a big part. We call it getting outside the hull. Last year we had almost 40,000 kids on board Midway for our educational programs. And like you said, we sponsor scholarships, and veteran-oriented charities get grants every single year through our Midway Foundation. Most foundations exist to fund the museum. Ours is the opposite. We do so well as a museum, we fund the foundation, and the foundation then, takes that money and has a grant program, and every year they do what's called the Pillars of Freedom grants to, where the nonprofits that apply.
Well, listen, and I'd be remiss if I didn't speak up on this, because one of them is the Classroom of the Future Foundation that I've been affiliated with since '97, and literally the Midway and CFF have been together from the get-go. Midway U was founded with the great education folks, and I'd be remiss if I didn't say hi to Rudy Shappy on the air. Rudy and I actually worked together at San Diego Unified a billion years ago, lead education guy there. And Terry, I think I might have mentioned this to you. The very first event that was on the Midway before the Midway officially opened was our annual event. We did it in the hangar deck, and you guys just do some. It's just an amazing thing. 20 years. We could talk for between now and probably next Thursday on all the things you have going on. Just give us a snippet.
Yeah. So all this year we're celebrating our 20th anniversary as a museum. Us and Petco Park, are 20 years old this year. We opened in June. of 2004. It wasn't easy getting the ship down here. There were some pioneers, names like Alan UK, Vince Benstead, Malin Burnham,
of course,
and of course our only CEO till I came along a year ago was Mac McLaughlin, and those men had the vision to get Midway here, and it wasn't easy. There was some opposition, but since then, we've averaged 1 million visitors a year. We had 1 million visitors last year. We're the number 1 TripAdvisor attraction in San Diego. We're the number 4 museum in the United States in terms of attendance.
Wow!
So we're a national treasure when I think about the Midway.
Can I ask a follow-up to events? Because I wanted to attend Jingle Jets so badly and didn't get to. So how did the first annual Jingle Jets go? I was sick. Leave me alone.
Well,
thanks, Kristen. Yeah, it really went well. So Jingle Jets, we had this idea. We got it from the USS Wisconsin in Norfolk, who started doing this about 8 years ago, lighting up the whole ship. And we thought about it. Hey, we're an aircraft carrier. We got planes and everything else. Let's light up everything. So we found a company that helped us with this. And on select nights, about 19 nights between Thanksgiving and Christmas, we did Jingle Jets. We had to be very careful. We had to look at staffing. We had to make sure that when we plugged it in, the ship wouldn't burn up.
Explode, yeah. That's helpful.
Because we have kind of an old electrical system, 79-year-old ship.
right.
But our Cheryl Carlson, our events gal, had some great ideas. She loves the holidays. So we turned, the hangar bay into a winter wonderland. We had Santa in an ejection seat wearing a special flight suit. We had a DJ on the flight deck, and we lit up all the planes, over 90,000 lights. We were hoping to get about 13,000 people our first year, and we made a dedicated outreach to the local community. We put ads on a lot of the Hispanic networks, Univision, everything else, to reach people that hadn't been on board Midway before. We were hoping for about 13,000 over the 19 days. We ended up with over 20,000.
Yay.
So we actually
So it will happen again, and I can go at some point.
It's definitely going to happen again. We made some money, so that meets my metric.
Good.
And
I'm so glad that was successful.
It was so fun.
Well, I happened to be there, and it was just unbelievable. So it ran into Terry and his bride, of course, and the inimitable Dave Kuntz, who is the marketing guy there. And if you know Dave Kuntz, the guy is just so stellar. I've known Dave for many, many years. And in typical Midway fashion, the customer service was phenomenal. You didn't have to wait too long in the bars, and maybe I'm giving away too much information. In this
an important metric for some.
Well,
so.
seriously,
Right.
no, literally. In all seriousness, these guys know how to do events.
Yeah,
nothing that frustrates you more where you sit there and go, "Hey, I got one drink in 4 hours," or whatever the case may be. You guys know what you're doing. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, we just got all the surveys back, and they were absolutely they loved it. 90% were very satisfied or highly satisfied with the event, and that's knocking it out of the park. So Jingle Jets was fun. And, one of my goals in taking over this job was to get us closer to the local community. Right. And, 70% of our visitors on a daily basis are tourists. Well, for events like Jingle Jets, Top Gun Night, 4th of July, that flips. So 90% are local. And what surprised me is how many people had never been on Midway before. They came to Jingle Jets, were like, hey, we want to see the rest of the ship.
Yeah.
We said, well, check your email. We'll give you a half price, coupon.
Oh, cool. That's great.
To come back and tour the ship. So, so it was just fun. It was
great.
It was a connection to the community. We have our education program. We have this, the things we support are important to me. Tourism can go up and down depending on what country's happy with us or mad at us, et cetera. But the community's always there. And we need to, kind of, exercise that muscle memory every chance we get.
Yeah, when we come back from break, I know Kristen has a question for you on something that's near and dear to your heart, and that's Freedom Park. She's going to talk to you about that. And then, as you know, Terry, been on the show a bunch of times. We always save time. What can our listeners do to support your efforts and ideas? Which way? When we return with Admiral Terry Kraft, he is the president and CEO of the USS Midway Museum. I'm Drew Schlosberg. As you've been listening to another edition of Drew Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show. We're the nation's longest-running community podcast, now in our 18th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, this beautiful Mission Fed studio here in Scripps Ranch. Mission Fed for more than 6 decades, doing great things like the USS Midway is doing in our community. We will be right back.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. We are right back with Rear Admiral retired Terry Kraft. He is the president and CEO of USS Midway Museum on this Spotlight on the Community show brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. Honored to have sitting next to me now in our 8th month, 8th year.
I have no idea.
That's right.
It feels like we've been together forever.
It is. And well, listen, that is a good thing in many ways. It's all good. And that's Kristen Fogel. She's the executive director of San Diego Writers, Inc., celebrating their 20th anniversary. Come and visit them in Liberty Station. I know you got a cool question for the Admiral.
I do. I want to talk more about the Freedom Park at Navy Pier. So,
Sure.
yeah, I just saw some, mock-ups the other day and got all excited. So can you walk us through what we expect to see, when-ish, and all of that good stuff?
Yeah, well, you may have seen we got our final approvals for the project a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
I got to brief the port commissioners. They were all very supportive of Freedom Park. This will be the largest veterans park on the West Coast.
Wow.
This was a promise we made when Midway came here 20 years ago, that someday we would turn all the parking on the pier into a park. And it's taken this long to get all the things lined up. The Port of San Diego has completed their work. They spent about $12 million reinforcing all the pilings around the pier so the pier can support this new park. The next phase is the demolition of that ugly old Building 11, the building that kind of blocks part of the Midway when you first come up. And we're going to break ground on that next month. So the contract has been awarded. It's a public works project, and we're going to start knocking it down. And that, I think, is really going to change everything, because finally you're going to see Midway in all of her glory.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's really going to open things up. And then we'll go into the next phase of actually constructing Freedom Park. The design, was approved a couple years ago by the Port Commission, then unanimous approval. So the design is set. Again, it's a tribute to veterans and the idea of service. And we have 5 years from a year ago to get it done. So by February 28, it needs to be open and operating. We're going to have a full-scale mock-up. You mentioned seeing a mock-up. We're going to have a full-scale model mock-up, like a 10-foot model of Freedom Park in the hangar bay on Midway.
Nice.
So people can look at that. The 25th of April, I'll just put out, is the official groundbreaking for Freedom Park. And there's going to be a lot of people there. We've invited Scott Peters, who was instrumental in helping us get some federal funding for this project. Also the mayor, all the local dignitaries from the port, et cetera. And we're going to start knocking down that building as the first step.
Is the public invited to that?
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. Okay. And what time do you know?
It's 8:30 a.m. on the 25th of April on the pier.
Okay.
Cool.
No,
Come on down.
Yeah. So if anybody's followed anything what the Midway has done now under the reins of Admiral Kraft and before with Mac McLaughlin, just did an incredible job. They will probably get this thing finished early. They always get things finished on just top shelf, and it's just what you have in that DNA, and I think it's so important on this. Terry, what can our listeners do to support your efforts in anything?
Sure. Well, obviously, come to the museum and let us demonstrate what we're all about. The number one thing people take away from Midway is their experience talking to a docent. Most docents you think of the term docent, you think of the grumpy guy in the corner telling you to stay away from something. Our docents are the opposite. They're going to engage you. They're going to tell you about life on an aircraft carrier and tell you about Midway, and they'll tell you about whatever you want. Some of it's even true.
Right. Right. How many of them were actually on the Midway? Were there some?
Yeah. So we have 450 docents, and about 10% of them actually served on the Midway.
Wow.
Probably half of them served on aircraft carriers of some type.
Right.
But you ask how people can help. Come out and volunteer on Midway. There's only one requirement. Do you like aircraft carriers? Yes, no. Right? A lot of our docents are not veterans. They're just people who, love aircraft carriers, and we train you on the rest. We train you for whatever you're interested in doing, whether it's docents or safety. So visiting the museum, volunteering. If you want to get involved in the Freedom Park project, come to the groundbreaking, and we're going to tell you how to get an individual brick.
I was just going to ask
your name on it or someone you want to remember. There's going to be a very easy way to do that, to participate in that. And if you happen to be a CEO of a large company, what better way to thank veterans in San Diego than to donate and be part of the Freedom Park project? We're talking to a lot of great companies about partnerships right now.
Right, and we're sitting right next to Vince Nowicki, who we just interviewed over here, the Chief Lending Officer. So he's going to go upstairs and talk to the incoming CEO.
Of course he is.
That's right, who actually shared the mic with Terry Kraft, Vince, a little while ago. We were talking about veterans and the California taxes, that the only state that wants to zing it to the folks on that. And he did a great job. AB 46, is that the...
AB 46 is going to be looked at again this year, and that California is the only state that fully taxes military retirement, and AB 46 has already it gets unanimously approved at every level it's been. The state just has to decide if they're going to do this, and I hope they do.
I hope they do also, because the metrics certainly support doing that, and for many different reasons. We're chatting with Rear Admiral retired Terry Kraft. He's the president and CEO of USS Midway Museum. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, the nation's longest-running community podcast, now in our 18th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, doing just amazing things for more than 6 decades, joined by my co-host, Kristen Fogel. She is the executive director of San Diego Writers, Inc. So how many times have you been on the Midway?
I think only twice.
Twice? Has your son been on?
No, he has not been on, and he would love it.
He would love it.
He would absolutely love it. I guess that leads me to a logistical question.
Yeah.
What happens with the parking? Are we expecting shuttles or
Good question.
Yeah.
I get that question a lot.
Well, parking and bathrooms. We go to a place and these are the things that we care about.
I'm changing my title to CPO, Chief Parking Manager. What's good is the number of spaces on the pier are going to go from 400 down to about 100.
Okay.
But across the street in the IQHQ development are over 2,200 underground parking spaces.
Perfect.
Also run by Ace Parking.
Okay.
And so parking is not going to be a problem. There's also a new surface lot that's opening up across the street. And we'll still have our volunteer parking for our volunteers right up on the pier against the ship there.
Nice.
But so that parking will start to open up in the next 6 weeks or so.
Okay.
Really?
They're getting done. And so that's going to be kind of the transition for the parking piece of it.
Yeah.
So how much impact you folks put on, 250 events, 300 events during the year?
Yeah, we do over 250 corporate events a year. So once the museum closes at 5 p.m.,
right,
and then we become a cocktail lounge.
You do.
For whatever corporate event. We've had groups up to 2,300 people, high school proms. You
that'd be
name
fun.
it. There's no place else in San Diego where you can be on the flight deck of an aircraft carrier and look at the entire, skyline of San Diego.
Yeah.
So that's what we do. And then we do over 200 active duty military events. We keep those prices very low.
That you do.
Promotions. So I love it's almost, I commanded a USS Ronald Reagan. We're almost like an active duty aircraft carrier, and that something's going on around the clock. We're probably doing some kind of preservation, some kind of maintenance. We're doing military ceremonies. We're operating as a museum. And then it's party time in the evenings. So,
yeah, and I don't want to get lost on this. We talked about it in the first part of the segment. You guys have absolutely been laser beamed on education since you opened 20 years ago. And 60,000 kids go through the museum each year, if not more than that?
Yeah. So in our heyday, we were over 50,000.
50,000. Okay, thank you.
And then we're building back up from COVID, mostly limited by building up our own staffing. But last year we had 39,000.
Right.
And we'll probably get back up to 45,000 this year. We're also, what we started during COVID and what's still going on is our virtual learning. So we bring kids aboard Midway virtually in classrooms across the country. We're in probably 40 states now where we have our virtual learning. And, there really are still one-room schoolhouses in South Dakota, and they can come aboard Midway and we take them through the whole thing. So, we're very excited about that. We're expanding this now into, young adult leadership classes and also vocational classes. You may have seen working with Ted Martinez, who's been here, and San Diego, the community colleges.
Right.
We teach a welding class on board Midway. Cool. So one day a week, the whole class comes aboard Midway, and they've actually helped us do a lot of welding. As you can imagine, there's plenty of welding to be done.
Yeah.
So this idea of getting into some of the vocational schools, we still need, the shipyards need welders. They need electricians.
Yes, they do.
It's an absolutely viable career path for young adults. So we love participating in that as well.
And a lucrative one as well.
Absolutely.
And with Classroom of the Future, we've been shoulder to shoulder with Midway on a cybersecurity program, working with this, certainly tying into STEM and all that. Terry, it's always good to see you and the wonderful team of yours. And you're so magnanimous with your time. I know you drink out of a fire hose a lot and so forth. But we made this commitment with you and with Dave and the whole team that we'd love to have you come on a minimum of once a quarter, if not more, to talk about all the great stuff you're doing.
Well, Drew, thanks for this show and for highlighting all the great things that are going on in the community. I met your next guest, we were talking in the lobby.
Yeah.
I think it's so important. I think nonprofits fill the gaps.
100%.
Here in San Diego, and we're so lucky to have so many dedicated people who do this kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, I agree. And you folks are certainly the linchpins on all this. Terry, wishing you and the team just a great success. You can expect to see me out there, whether you like it or not, on the 25th of April. 8:30 is going to be the groundbreaking for the new Freedom Park. And everyone, you certainly can look it up on the Midway's website for more information. Look forward to seeing you sooner than later, my friend.
Thanks, Drew. Thanks, Kristen. Appreciate it.
Sure.
You bet. Wherever. Terry Kraft, President and CEO, USS Midway Museum. I'm Drew Schlosberg. And this is another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, continuing to do spectacular things for San Diegans for more than 6 decades. We hope you enjoyed the show.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
Cloudcast Media.